All right, I got another one for you guys. This comes from Bounding Into Comics. Warner Brothers games to shift away from standard releases in favor of more always-on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions. It seems like WB is going the free-to-play slash microtransaction model. And there's some interesting stuff in this article. I definitely recommend you checking it out, but I'm just going to put a couple of things out there. So the first thing is this quote right here, speaking to the performance of the company's video game division, CEO David Zaslav told investors, looking across our portfolio, another area where we see particular opportunities in gaming, where we have 11 world-class studios and are unique amongst our media peers as both a developer and publisher of games. Research has shown that Gen Z and Gen Alpha prefer gaming to any other form of entertainment, more than social media, more than watching television or listening to music, more than going to the movie theater, he posited. Games will be even more important to our fans in the future, and so having this asset in our arsenal is a critical differentiator and a real growth opportunity. He goes on to quote Hogwarts Legacy, and that breakout success. And then he says that effectively they've been profitable in their games division for over 15 years, averaging more than $400 million in earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation and amortization the last 3 years alone. So that is quite a chunk of money that they're making off of games. However, he expounds on the importance of his properties in the gaming division of those 11 studios and how much they're making money and everything. And then they go down here and he starts to say like, well, it's he also says the investment in their video game business would not be based on delivering quality products, but rather pushing their aforementioned franchises into the world of live service gaming and aggressively monetizing them via various microtransactions. Our focus is on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC based, with 3 to 4 year release schedules to include more always-on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions, with the goal of having more players spending more time on more platforms, the CEO declared. Ultimately, we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer cycles at higher levels. We have put specific capabilities. We are currently under scale and see significant opportunity to generate greater post-purchase revenue. Post-purchase revenue. Wow, that's a good. That is a $2 word right there, or a $2 phrase. So they're really going to be focusing more on live services, more on competing with Fortnite, Call of Duty, those kind of franchises, and putting their properties in those, rather than the thing that was making them that $400 million and making them profitable for the past 15 years straight, which is basically their forte. I mean, WB Games, love them or hate them, WB Games makes excellent launch titles that are not that free-to-play model. They make excellent multiplayer games in like Mortal Kombat. They make excellent single-player games like Hogwarts Legacy, like my favorite game ever, which was Mad Max. I mean, that was WB Games. They freaking knocked that out of the park in my book. And that's an old game, but that's in that 15 years. And that was a phenomenally good game. They have this grouping of studios that can just put a ton of heart and soul into these properties. And yeah, it's a lot of work to make them. And yeah, it's a 3 to 4 year cycle, and it takes years to develop these things, and then you release them, and they're only really popular for a brief period of time. And I understand that, like, a lot of developers will look at that and say, well, yeah, but we could have that success straight across the board for like years as a live service game. We could just keep people engaged in this one game and keep throwing content out there, and then just nickel and dime them along the way. But the reality of the situation is you've got a higher long-term cost running the servers, running the infrastructure, running all the continuous development on that one property, that is basically trying to be paid with small transaction fees, $1, $2, $10, whatever it happens to be. Trying to recoup those costs it's a totally different business model. And I understand a lot of people have made a lot of money on that business model, but the fact of the matter is, everybody is going that direction. So I don't think WB Games is the smartest to try and compete in that environment where they're obviously knocking it out of the park with what they're doing right now. Why wouldn't you just keep doing what you're doing? and refine what you're doing, make it better. Find better ways to develop those games more efficiently and more effectively. Find better ways to produce higher quality, more engaging content. Um, Honestly, I mean, going the DLC route, like for example, if Mad Max had like 5 DLCs that were like $5-10 each, and they just trickle released those DLCs over time, people would have eaten that up, and they would have been continually engaging that game and continually playing that game, going back to those new DLCs to see the story and live in that world again. That I think would be right up their alley, given their development teams that they have and the kind of content they produce, the kind of games that they produce. But I guess Zaslav is just looking at dollar signs, and he's seeing those live service games making huge chunks of money. So I guess we're going to be getting some live service games. So Mortal Kombat 2 is going to be, free to play Fortnite clone, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this. Do you like the live service games? Do you think WB is making the right choice, trying to switch up their style from what they know to this new model? Or do you think this is going to be a huge mistake like I do? Let me know in the comments, and if you like these kind of videos, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you guys later.